It looks like water.
I could have swore it was somewhere right around here.
So what's the, X meaning?
On a quest, an X only means one thing. We go to the end of the water, we'll find that Phoenix gem.
X marks the spot, the symbology of the moon portal, so the opening of the right eye holds the reference of a gateway towards a resurrection or rebirth. We go to the end of the water is where we find a Phoenix gemstone. It's the quest and journey of Boaz the sun and Yachin the moon, and the main guidance of this work's channel. For those who are familiar with the movie Onward, the X mark of following the water ends at a fountain that holds the Phoenix gemstone. A gemstone that appears to bend light and needs to be placed on top of a wizard's staff in order to summon an astral energy entity into the physical universe. The Phoenix gemstone will be an energetic prisma placed on top of the energy body, needed to transit energy from one dimension into another. Within the Crater Earth sequence, we will continue this path that seems to be written in the stars. The purpose of this video will mainly focus on the role of water that seem to guide energy within a river to a destination. A river that would be flowing through our energy bodies. The fountain would hold a power that gives everlasting life or energy, and connecting the energy world with the physical. Quoting the father of modern biochemistry, Albert St. Georgi, "Life is water dancing to the tune of solids. Without that dance, there could be no life." When you think of a fountain, the first thing in mind would probably be a water fountain. But within this research, I want to sketch the fountain of life being an electromagnetic force field, the torus or the toroid, that seems to create an everlasting current between red and blue shift, in which the torus would be an energetic structure surrounding the energy body, in which the letters also referring to the astral or spiritual body, connecting the energy world with the material world, and so the physical body. Within previous work, we noticed this construct of the toroid having three pillars: the dielectric masculine sun pillar, the electric feminine moon pillar, and a magnetic pillar that holds the center in between, also called the middle mountain. A construct recognizable as the Freemason pillars, in which its jagged floor of black and white represent the sun and moon. Like we've seen within Wim's work, this trinity can be seen within the crater. Like the brain being cut in half with a center in the middle, the human body would reflect this concept, a left and right side of the body and a magnetic center. The feminine left side would represent the original, Antarctica, it's white, and the right side would hold the masculine, generating a copy of the original, the black, referring to the current reflection world we are experiencing.
We're gonna make you swim out of here, your own blood.
Cause remember, it's black, it's white. Referring to the locker, a prison system for the spirit and the mind. Like within the Tree of Life within Kabbalah, the right side is focused through the Bina Sephiroth, referring to the Saturn cube. It's a construct in which original energy gets locked into a mirror, and through a reflection system is building a copy of the original, in which the copy is trying to understand the power of creation of the original. Hence the Saturn Sephiroth of understanding energizing the right side pillar. This pillar would create a black body radiation field that's surrounding an original energy body, which has been encapsulated within the toroid. This black body appears to be generating antimatter, or rather shadow or mirror matter, through the Trinity pillar system. Mirror matter would act as an opening towards counter space, or rather a pathway to another dimension. So within an original world that's being looped into a mirror world, referring to the Ouroboros cycle, like we've seen within the Flower Power video, the left and right are X-crossed within a mirror. And so is up and down, the reversal of the chakra energy system to support a counter-rotating system. And within the concept of time, as within a mirror clockwise would be counterclockwise, energy would be able to travel backwards in time. The movie Looper visualizes this concept, where the original up is being haunted by the future, and the reflection of down being haunted by the past. Because don't forget guys, we live in a world where darkness is called light. The right reflection pillar of Boaz, the sun, is a black body that links the parasite world of Sirius B with Antarctica through the current reflection world we are experiencing, connecting this holy trinity into a toroid or torus.
And this is the torus. This represents magnetism, and this represents dielectricity, convergent rays coming in, because they're always doing this. It's called reciprocating. But at the same time that it does that, it's also doing this, going the other way. And that's called reciprocating.
Within the work of Roger Spohr of Mott Fossil University, the dipolar electron flood concept highlights this construction. Within this and future presentations, I will include some of the work of Roger, that of Doug Vogt, and that of Santos Bonacci, pioneers in this field of research regarding new insights of the so-called atom, which is the physical representation of the energetic toroid field or torus.
And the properties of matter. Not understood at all. They don't know what the nucleus of atoms are made out of. All right, they're smashing them into little bits and pieces and looking all through them, trying to figure out what is this constructed of. Oh, there's quarks, there's hadrons, there's muons, there's bosons, there's all kinds of ons and ids, and it's crazy. the names they put on all these particles, but all they're seeing is debris. They're digging through the debris. Well, let me tell you something. That debris is made out of only two particles, and I will show you those. And that is my dipole electron flood theory, which is nothing more than light. Light is two dipoles back to back. It's the smallest stable particle there is, and light itself is capable of extraordinary things, as I will show you.
When looking through all the debris, when splitting an atom, it comes down to these two particles of light. It's black, it's white. Before we continue to walk over water, we need to try to understand the world of black and white.
Then we will see that light is literally water. All right? Light is uncompressed water. Water is compressed light. I will show you these things. There is very little question about this. They understand now that the atomic standard model is just not right. It never was right. It doesn't solve anything. It doesn't take care of gravity, dark matter, weight. Everything is just nothing is explained. Everything is a mystery.
And God said, and God said, in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth. Now the earth was formless and empty. Darkness was over the surface of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the waters.
Pulses amplitude modulated.
Relax. Systems check out signal across the board. What's the frequency?
4.4623 gigahertz. Hydrogen times pi. Told you.
Strong sucker, too. I got it! I'm patched in!
Alright, let me hear it.
And God said, let there be light, and there was light. God saw that the light was good, and he separated the light from the darkness. God made two great lights, the greater light to govern the day and the lesser light to govern the night, and to separate light from darkness. And God saw that it was good.
Pick it up on my...
Which is called the ionosphere. And that is where light is separated from water. But light is water. Light is uncondensed water. And that's where he separated. He put a dome and a firmament, which is the ionosphere, to keep the light separated from the water. So he kept the water above from the water below. The water above is just light particles, but when you condense it, it turns into water, and that's the water below.
Do not be afraid. God is with us. Go! Ready yourselves! Go! God is with us! Pass the word! We cross here!
The concept of separating the waters appears to be a part of a construct to walk over water. Within the torus, the separation is created between the two lights from the heavens. The sun, the black, the masculine, and the moon, the white, the feminine. A pathway to cross will be the magnetic center in between. Separating the waters. Guys, remember Dan from Imagine Dragons telling us First you're in, then you're out, everybody knows. You're hot, then you're cold. You're light in the dark, in which in and hot refer to the right side sun pillar, and cold and out to the left side moon pillar. A separation of the waters through hot and cold, in and out. So when we look at the separation of the waters in the heavens, we see the resemblance within the exosphere and ionosphere of in and hot, and the mesa and stratosphere of cold and out, having the troposphere the characteristics of both in and out. Tropo meaning literally the sphere of change, from Greek tropos, a turn, a change. So going from tropo into the strato and meso, experiencing cold. And then into the Iano and Exo, experiencing hot. Reaching a destination. The firmament, a wall of water. Going from micro to macro. The atom, aka the toroid, should be the shape or construct that is connecting everything to everything. So, looking at the human toroid and the certified solar system, we notice the same construct of hot and cold. Guys, I'm using the certified heliocentric solar system for one reason. To visualize the energy structure of an atom, aka the toroid or torus. So, not being a flying ball circus in space, though rather representing a torus field within the human energy body, being reflected from micro to macro, as the solar system in the dome, and even beyond that. Having the chakra energy wheels, which are magnetic fields controlling energy in motion, so emotions, representing the planets within the human toroid, being amplified from micro to macro, as planets within the dome reflection system. Having the hard toroid field representing the inner Oort cloud, and the larger spinal toroid representing the outer Oort cloud.
The two Voyager spacecraft have been traveling away from Earth for more than 33 years, and they are finally in the outer edge of the solar system. This boundary is marked by the outer reaches of the Sun's magnetic field and solar wind, which form an enormous expanse called the heliosphere. As the solar wind travels out from the Sun, it pushes against the galactic medium and abruptly slows down. This is called the termination shock. Outside this is the heliosheath, where the solar wind slows to a stop, and the magnetic field is bent back by the ionized interstellar wind.
It takes the Voyager satellites 33 years to reach the outer rings of the solar system, aka the Oort cloud. It's a micro to macro link with the spinal vertebral column of 33 vertebrae that generates the larger human toroid field representing the outer Oort cloud. The inner Oort cloud will be generated by the 7-point Shestahedron hard toroid, the heptamad planet system, also called the heliosphere, the sun sphere, from which the astronomic Hills cloud would be centered within the spinal vertebrae column, with the Hills cloud characteristics of attracting satellites, having energy flowing in between the root and crown chakra within the vertebrae column. One more view on the Shestahedron. The geometry of a beating heart, aka the bell, contracting and radiating energy in and out, and representing the planetarian spheres within the heart's torus field in the micro view and the heliosphere in the macro view.
As the solar wind travels out from the sun, it pushes against the galactic medium and abruptly slows down. This is called the termination shock. Outside this is the heliosheath, where the solar wind slows to a stop, and the magnetic field is bent back by the ionized interstellar wind. The sun's magnetic field spins opposite directions on the north and south poles, creating a sheet where the two spins meet.
Rays. So here you see the hourglass in the middle here. This is the hyperboloid, and this is the torus. This represents magnetism, and this represents dielectricity, convergent rays coming in.
This sheet gently ripples as it travels outward, and the ripples get bigger as they go. When this sheet reaches the termination shock, it starts to compress, like water waves hitting a wall. It starts to compress, like water waves hitting a wall.
Before we look into this wall of compressed water waves, we focus our attention to the rotation of the poles and the sun. Within previous work, I sketched the mirror world being the center point of a flower, in which the ecliptic, the path of the sun and moon, connect two worlds within a flower. Aka the torus, cut in half within a black and white world. You see a reconnection through a flower, in which the ecliptic, the path of the sun and moon, connect two worlds within the flower power. It's a construction where Sirius B and Antarctica are linked up within a mirror world, our current perception of things, and located within a larger crater, Sulpicius Gallus M. See the construct of the solar system as the energetic structure of this flower, aka the toroid, in which its north pole rotates counterclockwise, viewed from the ecliptic, generating a downforce within the up is down, the mirror, and the south pole rotating clockwise within current timekeeping of the up is down mirror, having the stars rising up from the east and moving to the west, with the north pole connecting with Sirius B and the south pole connecting with Antarctica.
The sun's magnetic field spins opposite directions on the north and south poles, creating a sheet where the two spins meet.
Because they're always doing this. It's called reciprocating. But at the same time that it does that, it's also doing this. Going the other way.
The sun's magnetic field spins opposite directions on the north and south poles, creating a sheet where the two spins meet.
The sun's magnetic field spins opposite directions on the north and south poles, creating a sheet where the two spins meet. Looking at the flower, these spins would meet at the ecliptic, the path of the sun and moon. Along this sheet we also find the pathway of the planets, the zodiac constellations, and the appearances of lunar and solar eclipses. Signing the world, this sheet or band within the sky seems an important cosmic pathway.
Creating a sheet where the two spins meet. This sheet gently ripples as it travels outward, and the ripples get bigger as they go. When this sheet reaches the termination shock, it starts to compress, like water waves hitting a wall.
This sheet gently ripples when the sheet moves outward, like we see at the atmosphere, the dome system above mirror Earth. And going from micro to macro, we notice these ripples in the human toroid and the solar system, and where the ripples probably represent the orbital resonance between planets. So the solar system represents the energetic presence of a toroid field, reflected on a plasma dome.
The Voyager spacecraft have now found that after the termination shock, these stacked up ripples of magnetic field form bubbles, shown here as a computer simulation. This discovery has prompted a complete revision of what the heliosheath region looks like. The smooth, streamlined look is gone, replaced with a bubbly, frothy outer layer. This new layer also changes our understanding of how extremely fast-moving particles, called cosmic rays, enter our solar system. When they arrive at the bubble region, they slowly move from bubble to bubble until they can reach smooth magnetic field lines and follow them toward the sun.
Cosmic rays that arrive in the bubble region before they reach the sun from bubble to bubble, according NASA. I know NASA not giving a straight answer, but probably we need to utilize our imagination to color and shape this construction. So when we look at the heliosphere and the Oort cloud, we have this band of ripples that come together, visible within the dome and in the night sky in a sheet, representing the ecliptic and the zodiac line of constellations above our heads, in which a river called the Milky Way seems to stream into the bubbles. With X marks the spot, is the spot where the sun's magnetic field spins opposite directions and create a sheet where the two spins meet through a band of ripples, the ecliptic, which is also the pathway of the analemma, and where we recognize the spins of opposite directions coming together in an X. So the X-crossing and the pathway of the analemma could be the center point of X-crossing radiation between the Sun and the Milky Way, continuously converting energy from one place to another. Here another view on the micro to macro of the analemma, integrated within the torus of the energy body.
This new layer also changes our understanding of how extremely fast-moving particles, called cosmic rays, enter our solar system. When they arrive at the bubble region, they slowly move from bubble to bubble until they can reach smooth magnetic field lines and follow them toward the sun.
Cosmic rays or astroparticles are high-energy particles or clusters of particles, primarily represented by protons or atomic nuclei, that move through the so-called space at nearly the speed of light. They originate from the Sun, from the Milky Way galaxy, and from distant galaxies. Upon impact with the Earth's atmosphere, cosmic rays produce showers of secondary particles, some of which reach the surface of the Earth.
The nature of the bubble region explains why Voyager 2 has been seeing variations in the number of energetic particles compared to Voyager 1. Because of its path, Voyager 2 has been passing in and out of the bubble region. When it is in the region, Voyager 2 sees many trapped cosmic rays and electrons. When it is out of the region, the spacecraft sees fewer.
Okay, let's follow the Voyager 1 and 2.
We have liftoff of the Titan Centaur carrying the first of two Voyager spacecraft to extend man's senses farther into the solar system than ever before. "25 seconds into the launch, all continuing to go well.
First you're hot, then you're cold, when falling into a box, cube or wormhole. You see the liftoff out of the box in its reversal. First you're cold.
The guidance data coming back shows that we're right on the money.
And then crossing the termination shock. The termination shock is the point in the heliosphere where the solar wind slows down to subsonic speed because of interactions with the local interstellar medium, also known as radiation from the Milky Way. This causes compression, heating, and a change in the magnetic field. So when leaving the cube, first you're cold and then you're hot. Another view on the solar system, which I want to present to you as a torus, in which the astronomic Hills cloud, which is the inlet and outlet of radiation within a toroid field, is centered towards these magnetic bubbles, so centered towards the ecliptic, which radiation is reaching Earth through the rainbow bridge. So for energy to enter this world, there seems to be a protocol. First you're hot and then you're cold. And then reaching a wall of compressed waterways. Predicted to be a region of hot hydrogen, a structure called the hydrogen wall may be between the bow shock and the heliopause. The wall is composed of interstellar material interacting with the edge of the heliosphere. One paper released in 2013 studied the concept of a bow wave and a hydrogen wall. An ultraviolet glow picked up by the Voyager's Alice UV spectrometer could be evidence of the hydrogen wall, a region of dense hydrogen on the boundary between the solar system and interstellar space. Probably indicates that NASA is trying to show us the firmament within their certified heliocentric solar system. Within this physical universe, the hydrogen wall, aka the firmament, should be the top layer of the atmosphere, dividing the waters above from the waters below.
At one time. And what am I going to be talking about? I'm going to be talking about what they call the firmament, which is fine, call it anything you want. It's the ionosphere, the thermosphere. Then below that, you get a layer of absolute, very, very cold, then hot, then cold, then hot, and then you get down to the Earth. Over here, so right there, yeah, there it is right there. You see, this is the temperature. It goes way down, then it comes way back up, and then it goes way down, and then it goes off the charts at the top of the thermosphere. And these are what they call the thermopause and the mesopause and the stratopause, or whatever it is. Coming from outer space, the light comes in. It bangs into this first layer, creating that glow and energy and heat. The other side of the heat is going to be cold. They're exactly the opposite. There's extremely hot, and then there'll be extremely cold. And that's the extremely cold zone. Then you come down to the extremely hot. Well, it gets less and less hot as you come down. The hotter it is up here is the most impact. And then this bounces down and comes back, bounces down and comes back, bounces down and comes back. That's why you end up with these zones in between the ions, basically ions. There's 3 different layers of ions. And what's an ion? Is all it is an extra electron, a free electron that is not attached to anything. It's scrubbed off of or bounced off of something. and they're floating around in this range right here, and then there's an extremely cold, and they go all the way down to the Earth. And that's what creates those different zones.
So when reaching the termination shock through the cold, which probably is the meso and stratosphere within the dome, energy would enter the thermo and exosphere, experiencing heat. We notice the resemblance of the Hideyoshite's bow shock with that of an eye, holding onto this heated hydrogen wall. The symbolism of the eye can be seen everywhere. Seems to be the so-called solar system, or within this research, the toroid that holds up this cubed construction of a mirror world is shaped and referring to the Eye of Ra.
Here's how we started out. Light itself is just as powerful as it can be when you can focus it into an exact spot. Now, we did this with light, but we didn't carve anything with it. So there's some kind of computer-guided imagery in there that's creating this specific pattern, and it is elegant. It's just amazing. Look at that. Isn't that something? That is just stunning. Now, what we did was a little different. We sent light through a Venturi, but it has that kind of energy. You see that? It's basically the same thing. And that is just nothing more than pulsed red laser. This is what light is. This is a pulsed red laser. This light is just beginning to accelerate, and all of its fields are pushing against all the other particles that surround it as it comes through, exciting their fields. Push to shove excites fields. It creates a real hot side and a real cold side. All right, and this is the hot side, the cold side, the hot side, and it is accelerating. Light accelerates, light slows down. You split the black from the white. There's black here and there's white, and it normally was together as a photon. Here we created fission and fusion. That's fission and fusion. If you break something apart, it's fission. When it comes back together, it's fusion. This is a pulsed red laser. This light is just beginning to accelerate. And all of its fields are pushing against all the other particles that surround it as it comes through. Anyway, and that's all he did. This is pulsed red laser from this Bosch, and he used the the selfie side to read all of this illumination and take pictures of it. And unbelievable. And I mean, he must have spent just staggering amount of time. But what are we seeing here? We're seeing a wave, and I can explain that wave because the particle has a magnetic field surrounding it. All right, every bar magnet has a magnetic field. So that magnetic field's coming through here, and every other particle in the air has magnetic fields because they are all made by the same particles. So this has to push those things out of the way. So they glow a little bit, and this glows a lot. Now, all of a sudden, it starts to accelerate because there's a venturi here. A venturi was made with just literally 2 finishing nails, something similar to this. And the laser went right through those 2 finishing nails. And what happened was it created a venturi, which is a round surface here and a round surface here, so tight together that only the white could get through and the black couldn't get through. And that's what you see right here. This is fission. And you see this glowing. That's the kind of energy that they're looking to try to create, from almost total darkness to just literally a subatomic nuclear explosion.
What have they done?
Yeah, what have we done? What am I trying to show you guys here? The solar system being a large toroid that seems to be the engine of a superstructure that has the resemblance of an eye. That, like a ship or craft, or maybe like a solar bark, is floating through the waters, the plasma ocean. And is trying to reach a destination.
They're preparing to fire.
Sound the alarm. Everybody off the wall.
The world is changing. London must now look beyond municipal Darwinism and move into a new age.
What was that? There are many things you have not seen.
Tonight, we set a course for the savage heartland of the Anti-Traction League. The shield wall of Shangguo. The lands beyond will become our new hunting ground.
The Great Wall is the only barrier keeping the world safe.
Traction cities have attempted to breach the wall. Their rotting carcasses lie at its base. But that will not be our fate. Tonight, London is going to demonstrate its new power. A power that will sweep all before it. Tonight, we take the fight to Shangguo.
The Great Wall, the only barrier that is keeping the world safe. Within the so-called solar system, the hydrogen wall, aka the firmament, will be the largest structure, protecting this bubble of creation from interstellar winds, aka cosmic radiation. And by breaching this wall, or rather by breaking the firmament, energy from 2 worlds would collide. For using a solar laser weapon being amplified through this rainbow bridge. Within the certified heliocentric system, we would need to swap the Sun and the Earth from positions and include the Moon to complete this laser weapon. A weapon that through a mechanism and the current cycle of time is burning a hole in the firmament. The hydrogen wall.
Run! Get
I'm going to talk about something called the ultraviolet catastrophe. The ultraviolet catastrophe. And what happens is, at a certain point, particles are given off, and all of a sudden they stop giving off. They should continue to give off, but they don't. They stop giving off. And they can't understand why that happens. They call it a catastrophe. It doesn't follow the law and the rule. I know exactly why it happens. There's no particles left to give off. It's as simple as that. You see this? This was done by the Russians in space, and that is literally just exactly like this, a black hole in the center, which is collecting radiation around it, which is the white particles. They start with the blue, then the green, and then by the time you get out to the way outside, they're the red. Just like this. Now, the hotter it gets, the more particles radiate. So the red starts to go, and it just goes kind of easy, and then this, and then that, and then by the time you're at the bottom, and then you hit ultraviolet, there's none left. So it crashes, no particles left to shoot out.
I have to turn my head until my darkness goes.
From almost total darkness to just literally a subatomic nuclear explosion. The statement is light and water are exactly the same thing. One of them is compressed, one of them is not compressed. Now, how can we cut steel? Look at these chunks of steel cutting with water. Look at this. This is just amazing. Look at that. Look at this. Look at that, they cut right through a lock. Water is almost one of the densest things there is. It is not compressible. What does that mean? You can't crush it. Water is virtually incompressible. There is a tiny, tiny, tiny bit, and I will explain that. And it's because it may have some extra electrons within it that can be squished out of there. Look at that. That's just water.
We're back. The pitcher, steroid Santa Claus, kicks and deals. It's a long fly ball going back. And the ball shatters the sky, bringing the ocean itself down into the stadium. Oh, Simpsons just broke this dream's reality wide open.
And it may be hard to see tonight, but we are all standing under a glass ceiling right now.
Oh, we weren't able to shatter that highest, hardest glass ceiling this time, thanks to you. It's got about 18 million cracks in it. I know we have still not shattered that highest and hardest glass ceiling, but someday someone will, and hopefully sooner than we might think right now.
Blowing a hole in the firmament, aka the hydrogen wall. using the power in the way of water, and so the power of light, done through the mechanics of a donut.
Can Homer Simpson, fresh off an anxiety dream about not studying
In which
for a
you see the latter being symbology, of course, for the torus, generating a world of up is down through the process of separating the waters between black and white, all to clear a pathway for energy to cross through another dimension by breaking the ceiling through a rainbow. So, if the solar system is the engine of a black-eyed black hole, how can we turn off its engine?
Those who saw my video series 1 on the theory of multidimensional reality, the core of it is this graph. Basically explains how matter comes into this dimension from that other dimension. This is the carrier wave that carries the information for either the elements or us. And every time it crosses the x-axis, it creates a spike. You can look at this as Planck's constant, but actually you can call this a proton or a neutron.
Strong sucker, too. I got it! I got it! I got it! I'm patched in!
All right, let me hear it.
The distance between here and here, or here and here, it would be Planck's time, 3.5 or 6 times 10 to the minus 44 seconds.
Do you know Planck's constant?
Do you know the Earth orbits the sun?
Okay, so I know it starts with 2 6s, and then well, what is it?
Okay, let me just be clear on this. I haven't heard from you in a week, and now you want a mathematical equation that you should know so you can save the world?
Relax. Systems check out, signal across the board. What's the frequency?
4.4623 gigahertz. Hydrogen times pi. Told you.
A radio wave incoming, clocking 4.4623 gigahertz, hydrogen times pi. When we look into this frequency, we come across the C-band. It's a designation by the Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers for a portion of the electromagnetic spectrum in the microwave range of frequencies, ranging from 4 to 8 gigahertz. This band of the spectrum is being used by satellites and is the foundation of the next generation of 5G services. Several tokamak fusion reactors also use this high-power C-band radio frequency sources to sustain the toroidal plasma current within the reactor. Hints on the possibility of this solar system construct being a large plasma fusion reactor, creating a large torus.
This is where they are building the largest nuclear fusion reactor in the world. Right now, I am inside the assembly hall of the International Thermonuclear Experimental Reactor in the south of France. And just behind me back there is where scientists and engineers are working to replicate what happens inside the sun.
Susie Poo, this is urgent.
Yes, you're saving the world. I heard you the first time, but Jed is also saving Earthsea, and he's about to confront the shadows, so this is Susie signing off.
Wait. Okay.
Go into my definition of dimensions, which is different from just length, width, and depth. It's more like dividing the dimensions by how much information it has, how much potential it has, and there's an exponential difference between one dimension to the other.
Turn around. Look at what you see in her face. The mirror of your dreams.
Let's say this is an atom. Now, one of the legends of the 7 that I covered in the first video, 2A, is that the Torah is the book of life.
The fusion reactor Wendelstein 7X is ready to switch on. Over 16 meters across, Wendelstein 7X is the largest example of a type of reactor known as a stellarator.
Reach the stars, fly a fantasy.
Like the more familiar tokamak reactors, stellarators hold super hot gas in a cage of powerful magnetic fields. Wendelstein 7X has been optimized by a supercomputer to produce the best possible magnetic cage. 50 bizarrely twisted superconducting magnets look more like sculptures than pieces of precision engineering. They are cooled to minus 270 degrees Celsius.
And there upon a rainbow bridge, the answer to a never-ending.
Now, it's a clue to the atom that we're looking at. We are all carbon-based life forms. So this is the carbon base, the carbon atom. That's why there's 12 brothers, there's 12 this and that show up all the time, is because the atomic weight of carbon is 12. So as this thing comes into existence, it makes a path counterclockwise and it traces out a toroid shape. These are just a few examples, but this is happening so fast, a half a cycle would be, that Planck's time.
If Wendelstein 7X can show it holds onto gas as well as a tokamak, then stellarators may step into the limelight. Building this complex machine has taken 19 years, but researchers hope, when they turn it on, that it will recreate a little bit of the sun.
Planck's constant is 6.626070004.
All is Atum. Atum is astrology, the science of light. Jyotish means, Sanskrit word for astrology, the science of light.
Mario, all set down there?
All set, but I've got some company which I'd love you to obliterate.
Will do. Hang tight. I'm 3.
I'm 3.
1, 2.
For those who have watched Stranger Things, to turn off the sun and moon machine, the Solomon, one will need to have 2 keys. Probably the keys referring to the sun and moon. These 2 dipoles then generate a beam of light to summon their papa into another dimension. For that, they use a staff and the Phoenix gemstone to blast a hole into the firmament. Within the walking over water sequence, we will continue this journey diving deeper into this Solomon machine. Well guys, this Sunbark laser weapon seems to be focused on one specific spot in the heavens. Following the black and white Voyagers, the flow of the interstellar medium into the heliosphere, so radiation coming from the Milky Way, has been measured by at least 11 different so-called spacecraft as of 2013, and it was suspected that the direction of the flow had changed over time. The flow coming from Earth's perspective is coming from the constellation Scorpius, quoting Wiki. It's the same direction in which we see Moana on her quest for finding Maui, the one that's holding the hook, the tail of Scorpio, in which Maui probably represents the Demiurge. Like Marty in Back to the Future is showing us, the direction of south-southeast is where we should find the mountain.
A new day brings a new burden. The key is only the beginning. Wherever it leads, whatever it takes to get there, you'll have to do it on your own. Should you fail in your mission, the entity wins. Gabriel wins, and the world will pay the ultimate price.
With the solar wind of change, this ship is sailing into a transformation. Ahoy, and see ya on the other side.
Welcome home, Windflower.
Thank you, and of Squares, for creating this amazing video and cinching of research into the bell. Well done, man. Okay guys, thank you all for watching. Much love. Radiation matters.
Follow the Moskwa down to Gonky Park, listening to the wind of change. An August summer night, soldiers passing by, listening to the wind of change. Did you ever think that we could be so close, like brothers? The future's in the air, can feel it everywhere. I'm blowing with the wind of change. Change blows straight into the face of time, like a storm wind. Then we ring the freedom bell for peace of mind. Let your like I sing what my guitar wants to sing.
we have still not shattered that highest and hardest glass ceiling, but someday someone will, and hopefully sooner than we might think right now.
Number 3, you love My Little Pony.
And what does My Little Pony have to do with this?
Let's recall the pony's latest adventure, shall we? The evil centaur team in Tyrek turns Applejack into a dragon at Midnight Castle, and then Megan and the other ponies have to use Mooch's magic to defeat his rainbow of darkness, saving them from a lifetime of enslavement. All the pink in the world can't disguise the irrefutable fact that centaurs and castles and dragons and magic are all standard nerd tropes.